Welcome, Welcome to the Dreams of Consciousness podcast. If you'd be so kind,
Welcome.
would the two of you guys mind introducing yourselves?
Sure, Steve, let's go. The oldest person in the room first, maybe.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm Steve. I'm drummer and yeah, sometimes also vocalist and effect guy in Obelyskkh. And I pass over to you, Seb.
Yeah, hi, my name's Seb. Uh, I'm the young one in the band. Yeah, young one means under 30 in this band. Under 40, sorry, under 40. My name's Seb. I'm here for playing bass at Obelyskkh. And also a big part of my profession in Obelyskkh is providing excellent beer and drinking beer. That's one of my main jobs as a bass player as well.
And what counts as excellent beer? What's the best beer you can recommend?
Oh, that's kind of pretty hard because Steve would probably say something completely different than myself because I'm much of a craft beer guy. Steve is more than an old school beer drinking guy. But I love everything that is super, super bitter, like old school IPAs, West Coast IPAs, everything in kind of that area.
Yeah, but you have to know, we come from a region where we have the most breweries per inhabitant or something
Yep.
worldwide. We have like over 250 breweries in a region where, yeah, I think there are living 1.5 million people or something. So we have a real good choice of beer, and we can drink different beer every day.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's really hard to decide. When it comes to old school beer, I probably go with my local hero, and local hero is Grüner, which means greener in English. It's not the best beer in the world, but it's from our home city where both Steve and I are from. So definitely cheers to Grüner in Fürth in Germany.
But when you live here in this area, you grow up with beer, and so it's really our main influence, I think, for the
Yeah.
band also.
Can you tell
It's
me a
the
little
same
bit?
thing as with Asterix and Obelix, you know. Obelix fell in this magic potion, and our band is called basically Obelix, and we fell into a big potion of beer. So yeah, makes total sense.
Absolutely.
And would you describe your music as beer drinking music?
For me, definitely, of course. um, I mean, what's beer drinking music? I associate maybe with beer drinking music a nice gloomy concert, a little bit of smoke, a little bit of lights, chilly atmosphere. You're not there for partying your ass off, but enjoying the music, enjoying the vibrations, enjoying the sound, the fuzz. That's definitely beer drinking music. Yeah, I would say so.
I can't tell because beer drinking music, it sounds like, or I think like Metallica or something, like a
Like
Nah.
Anvil or something like that? Tankard?
yeah, something like oof 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 oof, and a stupid four rhythm and nothing behind it, and just drinking. Of course, it's beer drinking music, but I'm not sure if it's in the sense of beer drinking music. Some people probably call our music drug music. I don't know, but our drug is beer.
Yeah, that's a good explanation.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about the style of Obelisk, because Steve, as we were discussing before we started the interview, you say that Obelisk is not a metal band.
That's difficult. So, I think many people see it as a metal band, but we are not into metal at all. Or maybe Seb is a little bit in old school metal, but like
Oh yeah.
Wojtek and me, yeah, Wojtek and me, we are absolutely not into metal music, and we come more from the noise rock and some experimental stuff. I really like to listen to some experimental jazz and stuff. Um, yeah, and for me, metal is anything but not the music we play. How do you
Okay.
see, Seb?
Well, yeah, it's hard to say. I can totally see what you mean, because I think metal has kind of, for me, metal has kind of a difficult image. Like, I cannot describe myself as a total metal guy, but I listen to metal all the time, basically for everything. So, it's really hard. I'm not a cliche metal guy. I don't wear black all the time. I'm not super grim all the time. I'm a super fun person. I love colorful outfits. I don't know. I love living my life, but I love listening to depressive black metal. I don't know if that makes sense, but just metal is so super rich with cliches and everything. And since I was super young, I did not fit in a like super cliche type of area. I once I looked like a hippie guy with long dreadlocks. Once I was a total punk guy. Once I was maybe some old school Nirvana grunge guy. I don't know. I just love listening to super loud and angry music. And Obelisk is a lot of times super loud and kind of angry. So if that fits your description, then yeah, we're a metal band, but not like I think in a perfect kind of genre area. It's the same thing if people ask us if we're a doom band. I would even say even more, no, we're definitely not a doom band. But I would describe ourselves maybe as a band that plays in the metal genre, definitely. Or it fits in there.
Well, would you agree that Obelisk makes slow, heavy music? I mean, not exclusively slow, heavy music, but a lot of your songs have slow and heavy parts, right?
Yeah, fuck yes.
A lot of our songs have slow and heavy parts, especially the old albums. Um, I think it's strange because we always try to write fast songs, punky songs, but then it's getting slower and slower and longer, and suddenly we have a 12-minute
Yeah,
song, but the plan was to write a 2-minute punk song. So
it
there are
actually
some,
it's like that. Totally. That perfectly describes the new album. We plan
yeah,
to do a really kind of trio in your face, super fast album, at least in our world. But yeah, then sometimes the super fast songs are 16 minutes long.
Well, that's all the beer,
Difficult.
right?
Maybe.
could be.
So, have both of you been with the band since the beginning?
I'm sorry.
Steve, you go
Oh,
first.
uh, have both
Again.
you, Sep and Steve, been with Obelisk since the beginning of the band?
Okay. Yeah, I was there from the beginning. This is also kind of a strange story because we never planned to make a band. It started more as a fun project. We did some jams. Um, our former guitarist, he wasn't a guitarist, he was a bass player, and he just wanted to play some guitar. And yeah, we were friends, and he had Wojtek as a friend, and they made some sessions, and then I joined to play the bass. And we, in the beginning, we had another drummer, but that didn't work so much with him, and so for a session, I just set myself on the drum set, and that fitted quite good. So suddenly, I was a drummer without being a drummer. I couldn't play the drums at all, but it fitted kind of. So yeah, I'm there since the beginning, and Wojtek also, but Seb joined later.
Yep, I joined kinda, if I think, not immediately after Him to Pan. You did record Him to Pan and then play the Him to Pan shows and everything.
Yeah, we played a
And
little too.
then yeah, and then you decided to, or the old bass player decided to quit. And for me, it was kind of cool because you have to know, as I said, I'm a little bit younger. Younger means I'm 35, so I'm not super young, but I'm a little bit younger than the older guys. And Obelisk, for me personally, in the area where we are from, in Franconia, Nuremberg, and Fürth, was like the band to go to if you wanted to see a super awesome live show. Not like for 1,000 people or something, but if you wanted to go to a club concert, um, in one of the local clubs that are fit for, I don't know, 100 or 150 people or something like that, and you want to have a party but also want to listen to good music and some good other bands, I always went to loads of Obelyskkh concerts, and I didn't know the guys at all. I didn't know that they live in my area and everything like that, but I was maybe I was a little bit of a fanboy. And then I have another band called Fairy Duster. It's like old school stoner rock, like stuff like that. And we played a festival that Steve organized at the time, the Misty Mountain Festival, where the really awesome backdrop in the background is from. And I played there with my other band, and I got drunk and did a little bit of partying with the guitar player from Obelyskkh at that time, and that's how I joined. It was a just pure coincidence. The old bass player left. I was there, had some beer, and here I am recording now my second album with the guys.
Now, Seb, as somebody who started off as a listener and a fan of Obelyskkh, what did you like about their music? What resonated with you?
It was the perfect combination that did not fit in any kind of genre at all. My background is I'm a super old school death metal and old school heavy metal, grindcore, black metal, everything kind of guy. So I'm definitely more into the extreme metal music. But I also loved like all the old school stoner bands like Caius or Fu Manchu and everything like that. And for me, especially during this times of White Lightning and stuff like that, it was the perfect combination. It was a little bit stonery, a little bit sludgy, a little bit doomy, but it was not so clean, so slow. It had always, I think, if the guys played live, they had a super hardcore, raw sound. And that was for me the perfect combination. Yeah, it sounds a little bit strange. It was just easy listening music for me. And that's why I was so much hyped about them at this time. It was like a super angry hardcore stoner metal band for me at this time. I know that Steve hates me for saying this, and I know Wojtek would totally disagree. But for me, as a young, maybe in my early 20s or mid 20s, it was like a super hardcore stoner metal band, and that's why I loved it.
But that's not too wrong, because as we started, as I said, we started as a fun project, just jamming a little bit. And I think if you listen to the first album, Mount Nysa, it's kind of real, this cliche stoner rock. There are very many of those stoner rock parts, and it was just the development when we developed to a serious band. I think then the sound changed, and this stoner elements, we lost this stoner elements and came more to sludge and doom. But in the beginning, of course.
So, Steve, in the beginning, as you guys were jamming out, did you have an idea of what kind of music you wanted to make, or were you guys just feeling it as you went along?
Not at all. As I said, we were just some friends who met some here and there and drank some beer and made some music. And like Wojtek it was also a stoner rock band, and I was a guitarist in another stoner rock band from here. So these influences were quite clear. And our old guitarist, he was a real doom head, and he came from another doom band, and he brought the doom influences. So it was a mixture. Those jams were just a mixture between doom and stoner. And as I said, I wasn't a drummer before, so I was very limited on the drums. So that didn't happen so much in rhythm and stuff. We had to do this kind of boring stoner and doom rhythms. It didn't work otherwise.
How long did it take you before you were comfortable playing drums?
I don't know. I did some. It started when we started playing live. It was very quick that we just had a little YouTube video, and then we were booked for shows and played live, and it got better from gig to gig, and I felt more and more like a drummer and not a guitarist. So it was just playing and playing, just doing. In the beginning, we actually we were not able to play shows, but we just did. So I think that was the good thing to make some progress.
That's great. Seb, so am I right in saying that you joined before Hymn to Pan?
No, I joined after Hymn to Pan.
I
Hymn
see.
to Pan was released, and they did like a small tour after Hymn to Pan. And I think then, I don't know what it was in like months or years or so, but I joined right after the process of the new work. Actually, our first like live shows had no new songs, I think. I joined when we played just the old stuff. I think a lot of Hymn to Pan stuff. And then I started recording the Providence and now the Ultimate Grace of God.
So were you guys a three-piece before Seb joined, and then shortly after the other guitars left, and you guys went back to being a trio?
No, we never were a trio before. We when the bass player left, the old bass player left, it was just the week after or something, Seb came and we were four again.
I see.
Yep.
So you guys were a four-piece from the beginning.
Yes.
I see. Okay, gotcha. I'd like to speak a little bit about how songs come together for you guys. How does a song start for Obelyskkh? Do you guys jam? Do you guys jam out your songs?
Yeah. Mostly someone comes up with a riff, and it's just a riff, and we do some jamming, and then it just develops, and we make sometimes we make some test recordings, and then I check out if we can put some synthes in there, and if we can, if we find any dissonances that we can build in the song. But it mostly starts with a jam, with a riff. In the end of the song, mostly you can't hear anything of the riff we started with in the beginning.
Yeah,
but
totally true.
That's the jamming process, and then it's not real. Sometimes it's kind of work on the song, but mostly it's just take a riff and let the flow come over you and see what happens with it.
We're really old school when it comes to that. There's no like, we do not transcribe our riffs or something. For me, actually, I cannot even read notes. I total, when it comes to that, total non-music kind of guy, but I play bass, I don't know, like I think since 20 years or something like that. I'm also like a 100% hardcore bass player. I'm not into guitar or anything at all. I love the low rumbling in your face sound. I'm 100% playing bass, but we just jam out everything. I once had a band where we tried to be super professional, and we transcribed every song, and we had like, please play this in A minor to my riff, and I was like, what the fuck is A minor? I don't know. I just play what sounds good to it. So most of the time we stand opposite each other, look at ourselves, and we just jam. I think there was not a single time in Obelyskkh where I said to Adi, you have to play exactly this because my bass riff is like following the bass drum, and so you have to fill in your guitar in between. If maybe someone would say something like this, Adi Wojtek would throw his guitar at me, and the same thing is the other way around. If ever, of course we talk to each other and we say, hey, maybe you try this one, or you try a different fill, or something like that, but we are super independent with our own riffs, with how the songs come together, how Steve wants to fit some drum fills or some weird crazy ass, I don't know, xylophone sounds. I'm totally free to like play a riff over Wojtek's riff when we play something, so I do not follow the guitar riff sometimes at all. Sometimes I'm a little bit more of like in the lead and the guitar is soloing, because I play also a lot of fast stuff. So yeah, it's just total jam. I could not play like in a super professional play this and this minor diminished. I don't know. I have absolutely no idea about that.
So this process that you guys have of starting in the rehearsal space together, how long does it take for you guys to arrive at a completed sound, a completed song?
Oh, that's totally different. It was a thing with the songs for the new album. This went very quick because our old guitar player, I think he left us in, not sure, 2018 or something. And then it took some time. We thought about, okay, maybe getting a new member or something. Then we decided to be a trio. And then the songwriting process was very, very quick.
Yep.
We had this new energy and new power, and um, focused on that punky, noisy side. And I think we wrote the whole album in, I don't know, 4 weeks or something. So this went very quick. But other times we are spending half a year without having any new songs or new ideas or something. Totally depends. But I think when we write a song, it should be a song very quick. Otherwise, if we are not the band that works on a song for weeks and months and
Yep.
wants to give it a new structure, and I don't know, it fits, then we play it and it's cool, or it doesn't fit and then it's gone in the garbage can.
That's why we don't write any riffs down. Like if it was a good riff, we can remember it. If it sucked, we can't remember it. So it's pretty easy to write a song like that. If the song is in your mind and you drive home from the rehearsal room and you're like, "Da, da, 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 oh fuck, that was great," then it probably was a good song. But if you come together to the next rehearsal and nobody has an idea what you did at the last rehearsal, it probably was a really shitty song. So the Ultimate Grace of God was super fast. I think if COVID didn't hit us all, we probably would have released the Ultimate Grace of God in 2020, and in 2023 you could make a podcast about the Ultimate Grace Part 2 already. So we were super fast in that process, and then everything went to blackout.
Yeah, absolutely. We were supposed to record this album in 2019 already, but then we had some time problems with the studio, and then suddenly COVID hit us. So actually, it took us 5 years between the Providence and the Ultimate Grace of God, but it should be out for 4 years already now, I think.
So The Ultimate Grace of God is the name of the fifth Obelisk album, and it'll be coming out on January 27th through Exile on Mainstream. You guys mentioned that the writing for the album was actually quite fast, that you finished all the songs in about 4 weeks. You also talked about how Obelyskkh went from being a four-piece to being a trio. Did the change in dynamic affect the way that you guys jam and write songs?
Totally, 100%. For me, it was a big difference because as a bass player, you have to play and you have to jam and you have to think about songs in a completely different way if you're a four-piece band with two guitar players and suddenly a three-piece band. If you're a three-piece band, you have to play in a total different kind of way, especially together with the drums. as if you're like a 4-piece band. If you're a 4-piece band, you can easily like play standard bass stuff, do a little bit of the heavy tunes in the background. But if you want to really sound crazy and good and fuzzy and in your face, you have to do a totally different approach when it comes to playing bass, more like as a super low tuned guitar, not just like in the background dum 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 dum. So you have to really think about it in a different way. And actually, as our old guitar player left, there were so many riffs I played completely wrong. That was kind of funny. Steve always is laughing about it, and also Wojtek, as we were a 4-piece band. And it was just noise in my face all the time in the rehearsal room. 2 huge cabinets of guitar shouting at me. I played actually some of the songs like at totally different positions at the fretboard as I was supposed to do. And as we were a 3-piece band, I actually had to relearn some songs because Wojtek said, "What the fuck are you playing? It's not the riff. It sounds like the riff, but it's actually not the riff. Please, Seb, do it different." So yeah, it was a completely different approach, and that reflects the sound we have right now, and also the recording process. It just felt like super more organic and easy, kind of.
Now, is this the second album that you guys recorded as a trio?
No, it's the first album. The Providence
Okay.
was still as a 4-piece, and it was the first one. But the recordings were totally different also because the other albums, when we were a 4-piece, yeah, it was like recording the drums, and then on the next day the guitarist came, recorded the guitars, and overdubs, overdubs, overdubs. So as a trio, and we also found a new studio where this was possible. We recorded the whole shit live. It was like bass, guitar, and drums in one room, and all the songs were played live in this trio. And it was a total different feeling from the other recording sessions when you had these overdub sessions. So that's why it's much more organic and much more dynamic, I think.
Yeah. And I think it's also one of the reasons why it has more of a noise rock feeling to it, because it does sound like those old noise rock albums, which were very, recorded live and very in your face and, very punk sounding.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, was that your intention? Is that why you guys decided to record this album live?
Did we decide to record live? I mean, wasn't it? It was like a little bit of actually. First, we went to studio. We thought doing it in the, for us, traditional way with overdubs and everything one by one. But then Mo and Seb of the studio we went to, they just said, "Hey, well, we feel super comfortable with you guys playing live." And we did some test recording with them where we played live one of the 13-minute songs. And it actually was awesome because, of course, I was like, "Hey, shit, we have 16-minute songs. If I fuck up at minute 14 and everything was perfect to like minute 14, and then you have to do the whole shit again? Oh, please, no." But we did a test recording with them. It's actually also on a YouTube channel. There's one video to Afterlife. It's a song from the new album, but it actually, what's online on YouTube is the old test recording, which sounds awesome as well. And we did that live, and it was basically, we were up for it. They said, "Let's try it," and we thought it's an awesome idea.
Yeah. I mean, was that a consideration in the past when you guys recorded in a more traditional way? The fact that your songs are quite long and it can be a little bit of a problem if you make a mistake and have to record all the way from the beginning again?
Now, I think before we always thought that it's easier and more exact if we record one after the other, first the drums and then the bass and stuff. And as Seb said, it wasn't our decision. We really had luck with that studio guys, with Mo and Seb, because it's yeah, those are two young guys, beginning of 20 or something, and they just put up this new studio and are really
Yeah.
nerds with hundreds of amps and caps from the 70s in the studio, and lots of yeah, stuff, just stuff. There's so much stuff in the studio,
Oh
and
yes.
yeah, I think it was really good luck to meet these guys and record the record there, because they also gave us this input and, hey, just try it, play live. We don't want to
Yep.
do any overdub shit. Let's play live. And we were scary, like, oh, is this working? But it was the best decision we made.
It's actually super
To
sad that they don't do anything today. They abandoned the studio, I think, 2 records after we went there with the Ultimate Grace of God. They now do a little bit of solo work as recording artists, but the studio isn't there anymore, and it was quite an awesome location. It was in an old doctor's office. It was super rundown and a little bit shabby, but as Steve said, it was like a museum. They had so many vintage crazy amps from the 60s and 70s, and you could be there like for, I think, for weeks and just try different sounds. If we would have had more time, we probably would have done that. But it was super crazy location.
So how did you guys end up meeting Mo and Seb?
How did we meet them? I think they
I
wrote us
think,
on they
yeah,
wrote us a direct message in Facebook. They did like the total old school. Hey, we are 2 young guys. We like your band. We want to do a record studio. Do you want to do a test recording with us? They
yeah.
just
I
approached
think
us in Facebook. Yeah.
they wanted to use it as a promo for their studio. I think, kind of.
Yep, exactly. That's how it went. We didn't know them from I think from like a musical kind of shows or something like that, or clubs
Hmm.
or beer drinking. They just approached us. We were listening to them, and it was the best decision we could have done.
Yeah.
So did you guys go into the studio before the COVID lockdowns, or did you have to wait until after
Yeah,
everything opened up?
that was the hard thing about it, because, as said, we wanted to record this album in 2019 already, but then I think, was it that time that Wojtek got a new child, a second child, and so we had some time problems in 2019. So we moved the studio date to 2020. I think we wanted to record in March or April, and that was the time when everything was locked and we couldn't meet anybody again. So then we moved the studio date on, and yeah, let's see how the COVID time will develop. And then we had this small period, I think it was in summer 2020, when
Yep.
you could meet more than 2 people again. And so we just had a week to record the stuff, and went to the studio and just recorded it there.
Yeah, it was really difficult for us because you have to see, in Germany, they were very strict about some COVID rules. And also, where we are from in Germany, from the state of Bavaria, they were super strict about some COVID rules. So in 2020, there was a small opportunity during the summer, as Steve said, to meet with more than 2 or 3 people from different households. And that's where we went for the studio, and in October, November, and everything like that, where we planned to do some shows. Everything was back to full lockdown again. We were not able to meet more than 2 people on the street, and so we used that really slim opportunity in between those lockdowns in Germany.
So you mentioned that Mo and Seb no longer have the studio, right? Ma Mecker Studio.
Yeah, exactly. Machma Mecha Studio unfortunately does not exist anymore like that, but I think they still record artists if you approach them as an individual.
Yeah, I think Seb has a new studio, or at least he does some recordings.
Yeah,
But they're not working together anymore in this studio.
Okay. So
But
we're
they are
about to.
still available.
they're still available. Exactly.
Great. Before the interview, Steve and I were talking about how some of the ambient and noise parts on the album were recorded. Steve, can you tell me about some of those sections that ended up on the last song?
Yeah.
Yeah, especially the last song. That was very funny. All the noise and synthy and effects parts. Um, yeah, I recorded at home. We didn't record that in the studio because we didn't have so much time in the studio. So I took my little synthesizer and recorded some stuff at home. Um, what I thought just fitted to the songs, and especially the last song. It was a crazy night session, I think, and I created those synth parts, those ambient parts, and then I started to yeah, getting kind of crazy. I don't know. I went in my kitchen and took half of my kitchen interior, like plates and glasses and bottles of water and spoons and knives and everything, and smashed it around through the kitchen, and standing beneath of that with a recorder, with a microphone. And so I put some more and more noises, and it was quite funny because I threw all those kitchen things through the kitchen and recorded it. And suddenly my daughter stood in the kitchen, and she just stared at me, and it was like, "Okay, sorry, I won't ask what you're doing there," and left again. But
And
that
we
was
did not know anything at all about that.
yeah,
We knew that Steve was going to do some, as he said, overdubs, and we had no idea how it would have sounded if he wouldn't have done that, because the original recording was like super clean, and it was raw and it was fuzzy and everything, but it was like a three-piece live recording, and we did some crazy shit in the studio as well, with your xylophone kind of solo on the Ultimate Grace of God, which was suddenly really loud, and recorded through an old tape recording, echo and everything, kind of like that. But it was just a little bit of it. And as we heard it for the first time, as Steve sent us the files in Facebook or in WhatsApp or something, we were like, what, this is the song? It sounds fucking awesome. But it was a total surprise for us. We would have not expected it to sound like this, and how it ended up. Yeah, but it was awesome.
So to be clear, the songs were written and recorded before you came up with these overdubs. Is that correct, Steve?
yeah, that's correct. A lot of those overdubs just developed in the studio or at home with some home recordings or in my kitchen or something. Yeah.
Now, did you feel that? No, please go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I think that's the cool thing, because as a three-piece, you can write the songs with guitar and drums and bass and some vocals, and it's difficult to make something special out of it. So I really enjoy it to have a recorded song in the studio. You record it in the studio, and then just doing some experiments, recording some noise here and some noise there, and try if it fits, and maybe change the song with those sounds again. That's really fun, I think.
Yeah, that was a super benefit as a three-piece band, that you can just experiment and try stuff. If you're four people, yes, of course you can do it, but you always have to like fight against two big guitars with a
That's
huge
right.
sound. and there's no way for like a lead xylophone or an, I don't know, an old school tuba or a trombone, or I don't know. We love to experiment with that stuff, or maybe, I don't know, go out in the woods and record bird noises and send them through a fuzz. I don't know, like crazy stuff that just makes sense if you're a 3-piece band and you have room and time for that.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was what I was going to ask is when you heard the recordings, if you felt that there was an added element that was missing, and so you felt you needed to add some more noise or ambience or something like that to the recording.
We always wanted to do it like that. Actually, we knew that the recording is not finished when we walk out of the studio. We always had the plan to add some crazy shit. And to be honest, if we would have had more time or less COVID or less everything, I think it would have been even crazier. Like, as I said, I don't know, walk through the woods and record everything that you stump upon, or something like that. We had the plan to do crazy, like noisy overdubs and weird noises, but we had no idea how it will sound. Yeah.
And I think, in my opinion, it's like if you didn't set yourself a deadline for recordings, I would never be ready with recordings, because I always have any strange, I don't know, ideas, or want to do some more experiments and put some more sounds on it. But I think the dangerous thing is that you put too many sounds on some recordings, that it's just overcrowded with noise. And so I think we just have to put ourselves a deadline for recording process. Otherwise, it would be, yeah, I would never be ready.
So we spoke a little bit about your noise rock and stoner rock backgrounds, but is ambient and experimental and noise music something that you guys are also interested in exploring, or something that you guys do as side projects?
Yeah, for me, absolutely. I have this side project. It's kind of my solo project. It's also called Steve Paradise. When I especially do this, recording sounds and doing really long songs, like 40-minute songs or something. And 2 years ago or something, we started to play that live. I found a drummer and a bass player, and we do this improvisations. So we have this song structure, and then trying to do sounds and improvise, and having this 40-minute songs, building up some sound walls and stuff. So yeah, for me, absolutely, I'm a lot into experimental music, and yeah, this stuff.
My hero personally is when it comes to that is Vangelis. It's totally different kind of music, like electronic, ambient, orchestral stuff like that. You know, the famous Greek composer, famous for
The Blade Runner
Conquest.
soundtrack, right?
Yeah, exactly. Blade Runner soundtrack, or Conquest of Paradise, the famous Chariots of Fire. You know, the famous pop song. I love this sound, and actually, we talked. It doesn't have to do anything with Obelisk at all, but we talked a lot about maybe fitting more ambient or electronic elements to our music, but not as a plan, just if it fits. So I think we would love to experiment with more kind of weird electronic arrangements. Maybe I would love to do like analog, old school synthy kind of stuff, but it's just too expensive and too out of place and everything. I mean, you need another rehearsal room if you want to fit an analog synth in there. But I would love to do really crazy shit with that. Yeah.
And we can speak a little bit about your plans for future recordings, but I think we need to say something about Mr. Brad Boatwright, who mastered the album.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about Brad. Why Brad?
Actually, he already mastered the last two.
The last two, yeah.
Two of our albums, The Providence and Hymn to Pan. It was our old guitarist who made the contact to Brad, and he mastered the Hymn to Pan album, and he just did such a great job. It was it was fast, and it was the first mastering was a perfect sound, just as we wanted it. And so, yeah, never change a winning team, of course.
It's just super easy with him, and he knows what to do. He did a lot of stuff with like bands like Sleep or Noofgrush, or the famous American bands from that area. He also plays in bands by himself. Audio Siege is kind of very famous for doing a lot of mastering engineering on those kind of records in our genre. And we just contacted him. It was super easy, and it always sounds super awesome when it's coming back. So never change the winning team. Yeah.
And so, Sep, you made mention of The Ultimate Grace of God Part 2, and you talked about maybe employing some more keyboard and ambient elements. Do you guys have plans on what direction you want to move in the future, or maybe the beginnings of new songs that you guys are working on?
I don't think we ever had a clear direction. That's the thing. I cannot say if our next. I think it will always sound like Obelyskkh. I think even if just one of us is left, and we play and we do a solo Obelyskkh record one times because no one wants to play with each other anymore.
Yeah, an album with 3 keyboards or something. Yeah.
Yeah, but it will still.
You guys can do what the
like
Melvins.
Obelyskkh.
You guys can do what the Melvins did, and everyone releases their own solo album.
Exactly. And probably it still will sound in some way like Obelyskkh. So I don't think that there are any specific plans to move into like a, I don't know, country dubstep death metal direction. But there's also no plan to like record an old school back to the roots Obelyskkh Doomstoner album. I think we will do the same thing as for this album. We just meet sometime in the future again in the rehearsal room. We played some shows, we talked about some stuff, we have new influences. Maybe Steve bought, I don't know, some more children's instruments or toys or something like that make weird noises, and then we just see what comes out of it.
Yeah, that's right. And we have absolutely yeah, sorry.
I was just going to say we're going to have to get Steve a bigger kitchen for the next album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I once saw some guy on YouTube who recorded a song only using kitchen equipment. And but he did a full blown out metal song with that because he distorted everything. So he used some rubber bands from old glasses, and he used cutlery, and he used stuff like that, and he used shitloads of effects and downsampling or upsampling or whatever he did, and it sounded like a full blown out metal record.
So, yeah, it's fun. It's fun to record that stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but I think that's the cool thing with Obelyskkh, because we don't have any strict borders or something. And of course, now first we concentrate on the release of the Ultimate Grace of God and want to play some shows and stuff and promote this album. But then, if we feel like it, then maybe Wojtek comes with an acoustic guitar and I have a new keyboard, and let's see what happens. Who cares?
I always wanted to play Balalaika. I always wanted to buy myself a Balalaika because it just looks fucking awesome.
And I'm going to record a country dubstep death metal album before it becomes mainstream and trendy.
Yeah, sure. Of course. Go for it.
Yeah. Let's do that.
So, The Ultimate Grace of God will be out on January 27th through Exile on Mainstream Records. Mm-hmm. Guys, how can people order the album? What's the best way to get it?
I think there are two very good ways to get it. The first way is to go on the website, Mainstream Records DE, and order it there directly. Andreas is making a super good job, and he brings it to the post the same day, I think. So go
He's
to
faster than Amazon.
Mainstream Records DE, and the other way is to visit one of our not too many shows, but we will play some shows and go to the show and buy a record there and drink a beer with us. What is absolutely forbidden from our side is to order that shit on Amazon or somewhere like this.
Please don't.
So, please don't. Go to your local record shop or go to Andreas at Excel on Mainstream Records, or come to our shows and buy your record there, and then everything is cool.
Yeah, Excel on Mainstream has a good distribution network, so it probably will be, you probably will be able to buy it anywhere you can buy like a normal record of that genre. So it's listed everywhere, but the best option would be directly through the website. Support your artists, and know it will be released on Amazon. Definitely, it will be there. You can buy it, but please don't.
And if you go to Mainstream Records DE, then you don't order just the new Obelyskkh album. Listen to the other bands. You can't do anything wrong. Every single band is worth buying their albums.
Do you want to say anything about the physical releases that XL on Mainstream is putting out?
In general, of XL on Mainstream? Or what do you mean?
For Ultimate Grace of God, the vinyl version.
Yeah, we're doing a vinyl version because we thought a lot of, especially during the COVID times, how to release it. And vinyl for us, if you play in that scene, is like a 100% must. You have to release a vinyl record, not even because it looks cool, because it just sounds awesome. There's no way around a vinyl if you want like this pure fuzzy raw energy audio. So for us, the vinyl was a definite must. And then we thought about, well, okay, let's do a CD as well, because we always had CDs of our records. And then we thought, well, who the fuck is buying CDs anymore? None of the new cars has a CD player in it. Everybody is streaming. Right? Yeah, new computers as well. No new laptop, no nothing. I mean, you can't put a CD into your mobile phone, at least if you do not want to destroy it. So the chances, I mean, we are very realistic. The chances, like 80% that the record will be streamed in any platform. So many people are using Spotify or Deezer or what they are called like. But the fans who really want to support the artists and support the labels, they buy the vinyl. So it was just a logical decision for us. Go for the vinyl. There's a CD inside the vinyl as well. So it's not possible to buy the CD separately. You get the CD for free inside the vinyl, so you can easily rip it to your computer if you want to. And also on the CD, there are some bonus tracks included, which did not fit on the vinyl because vinyl is a little bit limited when it comes to runtime. So if you go there and buy the vinyl, you get the full package, vinyl, CD included, with a very, very awesome inside CD artwork that's worth buying it by itself, and also a download code. So even if you do not have a record player for the price of a vinyl, you get a vinyl, CD, and a download code. So it's really best of every world.
Excellent. And if people want to follow Obelyskkh online and keep up to date with what you guys are doing, what's the best way to do that?
The easiest thing would be to just type Obelyskkh into your Facebook search algorithm. Our Facebook page is the Obelyskkh Ritual, but just put Obelyskkh somewhere. That's the good thing, because we write Obelyskkh with S, K, K, and H. So you definitely always find Obelyskkh and not some weird pictures of old obelisks. That was intentionally. So
Or
if you
Asterix
just
friend,
Google,
right?
or Asterix, yeah, exactly. So if you just Google Obelyskkh, you will always find us. You will always find our Facebook page. We also went back to Instagram. We have to see about that. We're not so much into Instagram, and we definitely won't do a TikTok. So no 5-second clips of us posing at a beach or something. We have to disappoint you. I'm really sorry. But if you want to follow us, the best option is Facebook and Instagram. Always comes with the Obelisk ritual, but just type Obelisk into Google and you will definitely find us.
Excellent. Is there anything else you guys want to say?
Thank you very, very much for this podcast, because it was my first podcast. And it was really cool. And I actually would love to do more of that. I'm very sorry for our German accents. We cannot hide them.
No. We're
I
big
hope
fans of accents on this show. Trust me. Norway,
okay,
Sweden,
perfect.
Denmark, Japan, all over the world. Everybody comes in with their
Okay,
accents.
thank God.
It's great.
So you have a little bit of education, how a German English accent sounds. That's us. We cannot hide it. We won't hide it. It's just not possible. So that's what I want to say to all of you. Thank you very much who's listening. It was a pleasure, and we would love to do more podcasts. It was actually awesome.
For me, it's absolutely the same. I have to say thank you for this podcast. I don't have any experiences with podcasts, and I'm really excited. And what I want to say more is listen to Obelyskkh, drink Franconian beer, and just enjoy your life.
Go to shows.
And go
Super
to
important.
live shows, please.
It doesn't matter what it is. Go to country, dubstep, death metal bands. We don't care. Go to a local indie pub. Go to your hipster festival. Go to your depressive black metal. Everybody hates each other gig. I don't care. But go to local music. Again, it's so super important for everyone in the underground, in the independent artist scene, to just go out there, pay €10 or $10 or something, have a beer, even if you do not like the music 110%, just go out there, because otherwise, in 5 years ago, you have to go to an Amazon live stream of, I don't know, Justin Bieber and watch it in VR, and that's the most underground shit you could enjoy.
Word.
Excellent. Dankeschön.
Thank you as well.